Have you ever noticed that some people achieve everything with absurd ease while you work yourself to death and stay in the same place? It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's because they know the rules of the game that no one taught you. While you wake up at 5 in the morning, rush to work, do overtime, study on weekends, and still see that lazy colleague get the promotion that should be yours, something is wrong. Deeply wrong. And the worst part, you feel the problem is within you. That you're not good enough. That you need to try harder. Lies. The truth is much simpler and at the same time much more brutal. You're playing a game without knowing the rules. It's like entering a soccer field, thinking you're going to play basketball. You could be the best basketball player in the world, but you'll keep losing because you're on the wrong field, with the wrong rules, trying to win a game you don't even understand. Let me show you something that will make you angry. There's an invisible layer of reality that governs absolutely everything. Your relationships, your money, your opportunities, even the love you receive or don't receive. And this layer operates with specific, mechanical, almost mathematical principles. Those who know these principles master life. Those who don't keep struggling, blaming themselves, thinking the problem is lack of talent or effort. Think with me, why does that guy who barely finished high school have $1 million business while you, with a university degree, barely manage to pay the bills? Why does that toxic person have dozens of friends while you, who are genuine and kind, live alone? Why do some projects explode in a few months while others, much higher in quality, die in obscurity? The answer will shock you with its simplicity. They understand the invisible systems. They know that reality doesn't reward brute effort. It rewards those who act in harmony with its hidden laws. Do you know the first of these laws? The one that goes most against everything you've been taught since childhood? Here it is: giving without expecting anything in return is the most powerful way to receive. Sounds crazy, right? But wait. When you offer genuine value to someone, without charging, manipulating, or expecting immediate return, you create an invisible debt in the universe. It's not karma. It's not mystical energy. It's pure and simple psychology. People naturally feel inclined to reciprocate those who helped them. More than that, they start talking about you, opening doors for you, thinking of you when an opportunity arises. While you're desperately sending resumes and asking for favors, those who understand this rule are building a network of people who naturally want to help them. But here's a cruel detail. If you give expecting to receive, if you help with your eyes on the return, the system completely breaks. People feel it. They perceive when your generosity is a disguised transaction. And then not only do you get nothing back, but you also damage your reputation. That's just the first rule. There are 10 more that will blow your mind and completely change the way you see everything around you. Each one is a piece of the puzzle that separates those who win from those who merely survive. Now think, how many times have you made decisions thinking you were doing the right thing, but in reality, you were going against these invisible laws? How many opportunities have you missed because no one ever explained how the game really works? The second rule goes straight to everyone's weak spot: willpower. You've probably tried to change a habit, right? Wake up earlier, exercise, eat better, study every day. And you probably failed. Do you know why? Because you're trying to win using willpower, and willpower is the weakest and most limited resource you have. Here's the secret no one tells you: environment always beats motivation. Always. If you want to wake up earlier, convincing yourself every day that this time it will work is useless. You need to modify the environment so that waking up early is the easiest option. Put the alarm clock away from the bed. Leave your workout clothes ready on the chair. Program the coffee maker for the exact time. Sounds trivial? These little things are exactly what separates those who transform their lives from those who live on empty promises. Because when you understand that you don't need to be a better person, you just need to create better systems, everything changes. And here comes something that will sound strange at first but will make complete sense later. You don't need 5 hours to change your life. You need 5 minutes. But 5 true minutes, done with absolute consistency, in an environment that doesn't require you to be a superhero to do the right thing. If you're enjoying discovering these rules that no one taught you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. What comes next will show you why you're wasting 80% of your energy on things that will never take you anywhere. 80%. That's the percentage of your life you're throwing away right now. And the most painful part? You think you're being productive. There is a mathematical law that governs absolutely everything in your life, and you've probably never heard of it. It's called the Pareto principle, but the name doesn't matter. What matters is this: 20% of your actions generate 80% of your results. The other 80% of the things you do, they only serve to make you feel busy while you remain poor, alone, and frustrated. Look at your routine right now. How many meetings did you have this week that changed absolutely nothing? How many emails did you respond to that could have been ignored? How many hours did you spend organizing, planning, color-coding calendars, when you could have been executing the one thing that really moves the needle? The truth hurts. You're addicted to looking productive. Because doing the things that truly matter is uncomfortable, it's scary, it requires you to face your own incompetence. So you prefer to do 10 easy, useless tasks rather than one difficult, transformative task. Want a brutal example? Most people spend years building a perfect resume, taking courses, collecting certificates. But they never call the person who can open the door to a real opportunity. Why? Because calling is uncomfortable. Studying another online course is comfortable. Result? 10 years later, beautiful resume, mediocre life. Now comes the part that will set you free. You don't need to work more. You need to identify your 20% and eliminate the rest. Sounds simple? It is. But no one does it because everyone is afraid of looking lazy, afraid of disappointing, afraid to admit that 90% of what they do is theater. And here comes another law that destroys everything you were taught in school. Small daily progress is more powerful than large sporadic efforts. Sounds obvious? So why do you keep trying to change your entire life in a motivated weekend and then give up on Tuesday? This has a name: the compound effect. It works like this: if you improve 1% every day, in a year you'll be 37 times better. It's not addition. It's multiplication. But the problem is that in the first 3 months you see no difference at all. Zero. And then you give up thinking it's not working. It's like planting a tree. You water it every day and for months nothing visible happens. But underground, the roots are spreading, strengthening, creating the structure that will support something huge. Only you give up in the second week because you didn't see flowers. Do you know why successful people seem lucky? Because they planted 5 years ago and are now harvesting, while you're waiting for the tree to grow overnight. But there's something even more powerful happening behind all this. An invisible force that decides what you buy, who you follow, even what you find attractive. And 99% of people are controlled by it without even realizing it. Social proof. You do what others do. Period. No matter how independent, rational, or unique you think you are. You follow the herd. Always. If everyone is buying that product, you want to buy it. If everyone is talking about that movie, you want to watch it. If everyone is following that person, you follow too. This isn't weakness. It's biology. Your brain was programmed over millions of years to follow the group because those who were alone got eaten by lions. So you don't even notice, but you're constantly checking: what are others doing? What is accepted? What is normal? And those who understand this use it to their advantage. Why do you think every successful business shows testimonials? Why do influencers show follower counts? Why do restaurants put lines outside the door? Because when you see that other people have already chosen it, your brain relaxes and says, it must be safe, it must be good, everyone is doing it. Now the dark part: you may be being manipulated by this force right now and don't even know it. Every time you buy something because it's trendy, every time you change your opinion because the majority thinks differently, every time you suppress a desire because people will think it's weird, you're being controlled by social proof. But you can also use it to build. Want people to trust you? Show that others already do. Want to sell something? Show that others already bought it. Want to change behavior? Show that the majority has already changed. Simple, direct, always works. But there's something even more important than all of this. Something that can turn years of effort into nothing or make you achieve in months what others take decades to accomplish. And it has to do with a word no one uses anymore: timing. You can have the best product in the world, but if you launch it at the wrong moment, you'll fail. You can have the best idea, but if you speak to the wrong person at the wrong time, you'll go nowhere. You can do everything right and still lose because time wasn't on your side. The ancient Greeks had 2 words for time: chronos and kairos. Chronos is clock time, the time that passes the same for everyone. Kairos is the right moment, the perfect opportunity, the window that opens and closes. Most people live in Chronos. Those who win see Kairos. You know that feeling of I missed the moment? It's real. There's a specific moment for every action, and if you miss it, the effort required to achieve the same result multiplies by 10, by 100, or becomes impossible. Now we've reached the part that will hurt the most. Because here you're going to discover that the method everyone uses to achieve success is exactly what's keeping you stuck in failure. Goals. You love goals, right? Every year you make that beautiful list: lose 10 kilos, earn more money, find a relationship, change jobs. You write it down, you believe, you feel that motivation rising. And by March, you've already given up on everything. Do you know why? Because goals are emotional traps. They create an illusion of progress while keeping you exactly where you are. Let me show you the real problem. When you set a goal, you create two states in your mind. The current state, which sucks, and the desired state, which is perfect. And then you spend every day looking at that distance, feeling that you haven't arrived yet, punishing yourself for not being good enough. Until you give up and return to your comfort zone. Even if you achieve the goal, what happens? You celebrate for 3 days and then feel empty again because the goal was the only meaning you had. It's gone. Now you need another goal to fill the void. It's an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. The solution goes against everything you were taught. Forget goals. Build systems. A system is a set of processes that works independently of your motivation. You don't need to want to do it. You just do it because the system leads you to do it. Brutal example: you want to lose weight? Forget the goal of losing 10 kilos. Create a system where healthy food is always ready in the fridge, where you already have fixed times to exercise, where there are no temptations in the pantry. The system works for you. The goal only judges you. Want to earn more money? Forget the number. Create a system where you develop a valuable skill every month, where you meet a new person every week, where you constantly offer value. Money comes as a natural consequence of the system, not as the final objective. This changes everything because you move out of the game of I'm not good enough yet, and into the game of I'm doing what needs to be done. And curiously, when you stop chasing the result comes faster. But there's another factor no one talks about that can multiply your chances of success tenfold. And it has to do with the wrong people you're trying to impress. Your close friends won't give you the best opportunities. Your family won't connect you with the right people. Do you know who will? That distant acquaintance you met once at an event. That person you exchanged 3 messages with on LinkedIn. That coworker who changed companies 2 years ago. This is called the strength of weak ties. The people closest to you live in the same circle as you. They know the same people, go to the same places, have access to the same information. There's no novelty there. But that distant acquaintance? They live in another world. They have access to opportunities you would never know exist. They know people who would never cross your path. And because you're not close, there are no expectations, no demands, no shame in asking or offering something. That's why that dream job came through someone you barely knew. That's why that business took off after a casual conversation with a stranger. That's why the biggest changes in your life came from outside your safe circle. And here's the secret that will change how you relate to people. Stop trying to deepen only close friendships. Start cultivating hundreds of superficial connections. It's not fake. It's strategic. It's understanding how the world really works. But there's something even more powerful than this. Something that can double your chances of doing anything you plan. And it's so simple it seems silly, but it works with terrifying precision. It's called implementation intention. It works like this. Instead of saying, I'm going to study more, you say when I get home at 7 p.m., I'll study for 30 minutes at the kitchen table. Specific. Conditional. Linked to a trigger. Why does this work? Because you remove the need for decision-making. Decisions drain mental energy. Every time you need to decide whether to do something, your mind looks for excuses not to. But when you've already programmed the action for a specific trigger, there's no decision. 7 o'clock? Go to the kitchen table. Automatic. Sounds small? Studies show this doubles the execution rate of any habit. Doubles. Just because you tied the action to a specific context instead of leaving it vague as I'll do it someday. And now comes the final piece that ties all this together. The mental state that transforms work into pleasure, effort into fun, obligation into addiction. And you felt it before, but never knew how to access it again. It's when you're doing something and time disappears. When you're so immersed that you forget to eat, forget to check your phone, forget the world exists outside. 3 hours pass in 10 minutes. You come out exhausted but fulfilled. This state has a name, flow. And there is a formula to enter it. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's pure engineering. The challenge needs to be slightly higher than your current skill. If it's too easy, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get anxious. But in that narrow range where you need to stretch a little, but still can, that's where the magic lives. Now you know the rules. Reciprocity, environment, focus on the essential, consistency, social proof, perfect timing, systems instead of goals, weak ties, implementation intention, flow state. 10 principles that govern everything. But there is an 11th. And this one is the most important of all because it completely changes the board. This isn't about playing the game better. It's about realizing that you're playing the wrong game. Let me explain. You wake up, work, try to advance in your career, try to earn more money, try to build relationships. You're playing the normal life game. And within this game, you might even win. You might become a manager, buy a house, get married, save money in the bank. But while you're playing this game, there's another game happening. A higher game. And in this superior game, people aren't trying to win within the rules. They are rewriting the rules. They don't want the promotion. They create the company. They don't want the better job. They build the career that didn't exist before. This is the meta game. And when you see it, everything changes. You stop competing for crumbs and start creating abundance. You stop asking for permission and start defining what's possible. You stop following the path and start opening new paths. Let me give you a painful example. You're trying to win over that special person, right? So you do everything right, dress well, are polite, send affectionate messages, try to impress. You're playing the conquest game. And it might even work. But someone who understands the metagame isn't trying to win anyone over. This person is becoming so interesting, so accomplished, so complete that people naturally gravitate toward them. There's no effort. No strategy. There's only natural attraction because you've transformed into someone magnetically valuable. See the difference? One is playing to win. The other isn't even playing. They changed the entire game. And this applies to everything. You want to get hired? You're playing the wrong game. Become so good that companies come looking for you. You want to succeed? You're thinking too small. Redefine what success means to you in a way that no one else can compete with because you invented the category. Here's the ultimate truth. The rules you learned are powerful. But the real power lies in understanding that all rules are provisional. Everything is negotiable. Everything can be redesigned. And the person who realizes this first wins even before the race begins. So what do you do with all this? How do you apply these principles without getting lost? First, accept that you don't know what you don't know. The biggest prison is thinking you understand everything. Start questioning every belief, every habit, every decision. Why do you do things the way you do? Who said this is the right way? Second, stop waiting for permission. No one is going to authorize you to be extraordinary. No one will give you a certificate that says, now you can start truly living. You decide. Today. Now. Third, build systems that make success inevitable. Don't rely on motivation. Don't wait for inspiration. Create processes so solid that even on your worst days you keep moving forward. Fourth, cultivate hundreds of superficial connections. Talk to strangers. Reply to messages from people you barely know. Show up in different places. The next big opportunity in your life is in a circle you haven't entered yet. Fifth, identify the 20% that matters and eliminate the rest without mercy. You have permission to disappoint people, to say no, to look lazy in the eyes of those who don't understand. Productivity isn't doing a lot. It's doing what multiplies. Sixth, give value without expecting anything in return. Help those who cannot help you back. Share knowledge for free. Open doors for others. The universe doesn't forget. Seventh, and this is the most important of all, listen carefully. Become obsessed with learning the rules that no one teaches. Study psychology, study systems, Study how things really work behind the facade. The more you understand the invisible laws, the more control you have over your reality. Now comes the conclusion that changes everything. You don't need to conquer anything. You need to transform into someone who naturally attracts what they desire. It's not about having. It's about being. When you master these laws, when you act in harmony with them, success ceases to be a struggle. It becomes a consequence. Opportunities appear without you looking. The right people enter your life. Money flows. Relationships deepen. Not because you're forcing it, but because you aligned yourself with the invisible forces that govern reality. And then you realize, the game was never about winning. It was about understanding. Understanding how everything works. Understanding the rules. Understanding that you can rewrite them. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of 99% of people. Because now you know what most will never know. There's a hidden manual for life. And you just read it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue discovering what no one teaches you. The game has changed. And now you know how to play.